Well, the market has been a challenging place here recently, and obviously we're very busy right now in the midst of harvest. And, I had to give Dave Reichhart a call out at AgPlus. Dave Reichhart's the VP of Grain. Dave, thanks for joining us this morning on the program. One of the things that has really been remarkable, I think, for us around here this year, harvest has kind of been delayed, had a lot to do with the weather, but gosh, Dave, we look around and we see some of these cornfields that are still kind of green. Obviously, we've been having conversations with our farmers about moisture content in the corn as well. What are you seeing coming across the scales?
Well, the corn definitely is wetter than normal. We're not sure what the cause was. We do believe that probably we had some drought issues early in June that maybe shut that plant down. We didn't utilize heat units. And then a lot of talk about the haze that we had all summer from the wildfires.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that probably we just didn't get the utilization that we normally would on heat units.
Yeah. One of the other conversations that's really been ramping up in the last several weeks, it's about demand. And with China and the relationship that they've cultivated with Brazil on corn has been a real impact. Now, recently we've seen a lot of flash sales from China for soybeans, but nowhere near what they have been in the past. Talk about demand in the framework of biofuels. Now, we were hearing a lot about new biodiesel plants going up, and obviously ethanol factors into our demand for corn. But, it's not just corn, but it's soybean meal, and so forth. Talk to us about that demand picture in the biofuels.
Well, the biofuel thing is looking huge. I mean, it looks like a great opportunity going forward. Jet fuel obviously would be a huge demand if we could get it. If we could get railroads going on biofuels, would also be a huge demand. The challenge I see is as we build the demand and we have huge demand for soybean oil, where do we get rid of all the soybean meal? Livestock numbers haven't been real profitable in some of the sectors. So where do we ramp up to get rid of meal? Now, we are exporting some meal right now, and that's a good thing, but Argentina is the world's largest soybean exporter of meal. And if they get production back up this coming year to normal, if there is such a thing as normal today, that's going to put a hit on the demand for meal in the world. So I think that's the thing we got to watch, because, the only way to replace meal is to put it back in the feed ration. If it goes in the feed ration, the thing that has to come out is probably DDGs, and we don't want to lose the DDG side. So I think that's going to be interesting to watch as we go forward.
Yeah. As that unfolds, it's going to be an interesting one, because a lot of big plants are going up to do all that crushing. And you're right. It all boils down to demand at some point. You mentioned Argentina, but also Brazil. So South America, boy, they're the big elephant in the room, it seems, not only because they're our number one competitor, but because of the massive amount of production. And they're kicking out a bunch new acres in Brazil next year. And to your point, if Argentina, if they get the weather, they're cranking back up as well.
Yeah, we're looking right now, the early projections, Brazil up 7 to 9 million metric tons on soybean production, corn about unchanged, maybe down slightly. Argentina, you're looking at 20 to 25 million metric ton increase if they just go back to normal. And, you start looking at 30 million metric tons, that's about 1.2 billion bushels. That's about 30% of what we produce here in the U.S. I mean, that's a huge number for the market to chew through. And I think that's the concern as you watch these markets long term. If they continue to get good weather, and the weather recently has improved, that will be the challenge for our markets going forward, because we're going to have a lot more supply coming out of South America. And the strong dollar remains. We continue to see this strong dollar, which strong dollar compared to the real and the peso and the other currencies really make our stuff more expensive in the world.
Yeah. Dave Reichhart, Vice President of Grain and Marketing at AgPlus in South Whitley. Dave, always good to talk to you. Thanks for your insights this morning. Appreciate it.
Yep. Good talking to you, Rob.
Podcasts by Federated Media.